Nobody wants to get out of their comfort zone and actually break some shit. You know, you can't really mandate work comfortably anymore. Most people just seek out comfort, don't they? Like, it's hard doing hard things. My fear is that nobody's willing to put their neck on the line for anything anymore because safety matters to them so much.
So Giant Jerry's in the house. You got the big old man, newly formed Titan X. What's your title over there?
Guy that they think can do parts of the job that Justin can't do anymore because he's like a clone. He needs a clone.
Official clone title.
Does that make you like my
me? Third generation? Is this like when, if like siblings have kids and they have kids, like what starts to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into conversations about the sort of hollers of Kentucky, but yeah, why not? Let's do it. No, I'm basically client strategy, so I'm doing all the sort of success and expansion.
Amazing.
Success and expansion. Yeah. Perfect lead in to the show. Well, if Giant Jerry, you haven't quite checked it out yet, welcome to our first ever guest episode of Outbound Fluff, No Sales. We talk about all the shit that is fluffy and kills your sales. What's the fluffiest thing that drives you crazy in the sales world?
Sales kickoffs.
Oh, that's a juicy one. The biggest gathering and waste of hour for hour dollar spend is sales kickoff. 3 full days of like 80 people in a room together that do nothing but just stroke each other's egos and talk about plans they're never going to hit.
I made a lot of money speaking at them and delivering them, so I can't whinge too much about their function. But you know, you leave them and guess what? You feel like you've had zero imprint and everybody's going to go back to their desk tomorrow and not call their follow-ups and not bucket their leads, you know, and then complain when they don't hit quota. So
we have a pipeline problem, Jerry. If we could just get more at bats. I'm a high ticket closer. You get me a lead. I'm going to close them.
Just I'm smartest guy in the room.
We need more meetings.
Guy in the room. Yeah.
We need more meetings. These no-shows are killing us.
But they're not the right meetings, Ryan. You know, they're not the right meetings.
So sales kickoff, what are the typical things you're hearing from the teams these days as to why they're not getting to their number? I'm guessing at this stage, I mean, you just transitioned over from Connect and Sell. Now you're at Titan X. It's all the same general
all the same.
challenge.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's rep, list, message, management.
What do you think's the biggest fail point in this?
Right now,
thing?
In 2025, first-line leadership sucks.
Whew, that's a hot take. First-line leadership because strategy that they're deploying is ridiculous. And
no, I don't know. Nobody's coaching them on how to do the job. Nobody's teaching them how to be a leader. So if you don't know how to lead functionally and actually execute leadership, it's tough. And it's tough, and it's a poison chalice. It's not somebody's like. You get tapped on the shoulder, don't you? Go and do it. You're a good individual contributor. Now go and do this thing. And I think the way to look busy in that job is to go off and do operational stuff, not do leadership stuff.
So what does leadership stuff look like when a good leader is out there?
Enforcing plays, making people do the work. That's good leadership, and that's not what's happening.
Enforcing plays, which I think that's a whole thing we could double click into. The complexity of some of these strategies that we hear people talk about. We had a nice conversation with a very large private equity firm, and they were implementing this idea of like, let's eliminate the SDRs and all of this fun stuff. And we helped architect this idea around what we could do to actually accomplish that. And in fact, we have the receipts to show it's possible. Run through everything, and then the conversation, this sounds great, but what about like the email and the other stuff? And I legitimately offended this leader.
This super influential, maybe partner at this mega PE firm running about 80 to 100 multi-billion or 100 million plus revenue companies. He basically called her a dumbass in front of everyone, and she didn't take too kindly to that. And I don't blame Ryan, because Ryan's right. Ryan's a truther. You know, he's red-pilled it. But man, like, we never heard back from them at the end of that.
Look, again, it's like sort of function of responsibility, right? It's people don't know what they don't know. People are trying to sort of benchmark and create best practices from other people's systems, not their own.
Well, not even other people's systems, from the gurus on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Gurus that are manufactured from the sales acceleration industrial complex.
Everybody's reporting the news, not making the news.
Ooh, that's a good line.
Nobody wants to get out of their comfort zone and actually break some shit. You can't really mandate work comfortably anymore. Most people just seek out comfort, don't they? Like, it's hard doing hard things.
You know what the thing I'm probably most proud of in my entire short 12-year career is when I put my neck on the line to bring Connect and Sell into Security Scorecard, and they dropped $444,000, get it across the entire sales team because, hey, it was a risk. I had to sell it to the CEO, CFO, CRO. They all bought into it. And that actually changed the trajectory of the company because now they were just thinking differently. Everything had changed after that. Wouldn't do that again today, but I wouldn't be here today without that move.
Yeah, but I think we all know different things because of those experiences, and that's good. And you can go out and innovate. Right?
So hard things, it was risky. I could have been fired for that easily. If it was a total fail, dud.
Yeah, easily. But you know a lot more now, and the context of that moment in time, it was the right thing to do. And that's good, right? My fear is that nobody's willing to put their neck on the line for anything anymore because safety matters to them so much that it's causing all sorts of structural problems up and down the economy as a result, because there aren't people that are taking risk. As a leader, you need to put bets in place. And if you're not willing to put bets in place, then what are you actually doing all day? You're probably taking vendor calls, you're probably sat in a spreadsheet, you're doing a wonderful job of creating slides for strategy, and then you're reporting on the news, but you're not actually investigating the data, right? And the data is telling you something interesting, but you're just not listening to it or looking at it deeply enough. And again, I don't blame them, by the way. This isn't an attack on the people in the job, because the people in the job are doing the best that they can right now, I think.
Are they?
I think some of them really, I don't think people go to work to want to suck, right? I don't think that's their motivation when they wake up in the morning. I never account to malice what I can account to incompetence.
Weaponized
I never
incompetence.
account to malice what I could account to. Yeah.
Nobody's maliciously doing a bad job. I don't think that they go to work to string themselves up.
Right. It's just incompetence.
Not what they're doing. Yeah, they just don't know anything. Yeah.
But there is a extreme lack of action. Okay, so
I agree with you there. Yeah.
To your point, they may not be on purpose trying to create a shitty environment for their organization that drives no results, but they know this is my conspiracy theory. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Gerry. But
Ryan usually has really good conspiracy theories too, so we should all take out our notepads. This is gonna be a good one.
I've said this before, but the fear of the no in sales, right, is what's driving this lack of action. Again, we've said this for a long period of time. Everyone wants this big fat pipeline coverage concept, which in reality we know that's all bullshit. It's mostly fluff. The lack of action is because they know that that there's going to be a no behind a majority of the stuff that's in there. So they don't want to actually do the work towards it, because if they can keep it in the report for a long enough period of time and it grows over time, they can just say, oh yeah, that's coming. And so they prolong the seat because it's like, oh, I got pipeline, it's coming. But in the back of their mind, if they just made the call, 80% of it is trash. And that serves nobody. Right? We need to get to the information associated with what's going on. And that fear of, once I've had that first meeting, that it's maybe not going to move forward. My conspiracy theory is that most people know this and they're not doing it just so that they can prolong that average tenure, which at this point is probably like 9 months, 12 months.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So let me just collect my paycheck. Let me not do anything but talk about it. And it starts to stack up as if stuff's moving, but we know in the heart of our hearts that there's not anything there.
Steve Burton's been doing this on LinkedIn, right? He's been sort of running these avatars of like parody sales leaders recently. It's been brilliant.
Who's doing it? Steve who?
Steve Burton.
I have not seen him.
We all know the guys, right? It's like, the channel dude and the old school VP of sales dude and stuff. And it's just like, obviously AI generated, because I don't know if Steve can spell that well, but broadly speaking, and he won't mind me taking the piss out of him.
London is the best city on the
London's the
world.
Best city on the planet. Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, but like, he's right. You've got these guys that swing around boardrooms and are phenomenal at sort of telling investor stories and stuff, and then they come in and rip up something and then don't put it back together, and they sit there and they take their salary, and then one of their mates gets a job somewhere else, and then they go and get a job with their mate. It's like,
and while they're in the boardroom, they're like, look at the pipeline. Look at the pipeline. It's coming.
The problem is that like you kind of need to go somewhere where you're going to build your career, right? And you need to be inspired by action, because if you don't see action around you, then guess what? When you do inevitably hit the slow creep of promotion in sales, you're not going to know how to lead. Like, I don't love the Medic Mafia, but their emphasis on leadership training is unreal in all of those playbook companies.
That's a good call out. Well, so in your career, what was a proud moment you have as far as taking that leadership action, taking risk, trying something out?
Good question. Yeah, probably a bit like you. I took a bet on connecting, so before it was a thing, before it was even a thing in Europe. I was quite bold. Getting it funded was really hard, but my conviction was high. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never really sort of had these paradigm busting roles yet. I've always been in sort of scale ups and startups. My sense is that I've never had big budgets to play with or had to roll bets. I've been more obsessed with making payroll work and bringing money to fund people's salaries and stuff rather than funding exponential growth. It's all been bootstrapped. It's all been lean. It's all been, so the bets that you make are more on your execution as opposed to technologies, tools, systems, processes. I mean, I felt guilty for spending $800 on a Salesforce guy to come in and configure 3 fields that I couldn't do myself, right? But they were critical, but I felt bad spending that money. So for me, it's all been about execution and process deployment and getting people on the mission. Those are the big bets around that side of it, rather than I'm going to put my neck on the block here for money. I'll put my neck on the block for just, and I think Ryan and I work together, right? By sheer conviction, sheer bravery, and not being scared to have a perspective.
Well, what's speaking of bets, what's your bet looking forward? What's your biggest one right now going into the future?
I don't know. It's all a bit muddy at the moment, isn't it? Macros. I like the idea of like an almost zero cost of good world. Like the second Elon Musk launches his home help robots, I'm buying 3 of them. I'm amortizing.
Never have to do the dishes again.
Our housekeeper. We're getting rid of the landscape guy. We're getting rid of the garden guy. Like if I don't have to employ those people around my house, that's phenomenal. All right.
My housekeeper is literally part of our family. Our kids love her.
Yeah, no, we've had them for 12 years, but I'm not emotional on it. I don't know. It's
I can just imagine the comments coming from this one. Well, these blokes have housekeepers. Hey, you know how you afford a housekeeper?
You go and make dials.
Pick up the fucking phone.
Exactly right. Or you dominate LinkedIn about picking up the phone.
That works too.
That's how you afford housekeepers.
Oh, buy my course, $89.95.
I don't know. Professionally, I don't know. I think we're going to see more craft coming back in and less process. To a certain
What do you
degree.
mean by that? What do you mean by more craft, less process?
Automation and AI is table stakes now.
Mm-hmm.
Clay is table stakes. It's all table stakes, right? There's nothing innovative, right? So you need to restore creativity to a post-automation world. So I think re-emphasizing skill probably gone away a bit. Might come back, because guess what?
I really do fear that concept though, because the bar was already pretty low with folks' ability to think. We just kind of talked about this. But now people think that the AI is going to do it for them. But again, in order to actually take advantage of this stuff, you have to be the one that's architecting new way of using that capability, not the capability. Again, what did I do with Connect and Sell? I learned that there was a value from
the labor pool,
getting data from calling at a volume, not using the calling at a volume. That was 10 years ago. And just now, everyone is so punch drunk on parallel dialing, which is hilarious. It's AI parallel dialing, whatever. But it's like you guys are so far behind, not realizing what the actual next lever is. Right?
No, but
and then
you and I have spoken about this a lot, Ryan, right? Like it's a sort of hedge fund concept where their entire mission is to generate alpha. Alpha's their profit signal, right? And the big thing there is you can maintain an advantage on your profit signal, but eventually somebody else in the market is going to see the move that you've made. And they're going to bite on the signal, and guess what? They'll make some money. And the next 3 or 4 hedge funds that jump on will make some money. But eventually, by the time 120 hedge funds are all trying to carry the same signal, the profitability diminishes and it goes away. And nobody understood the underlying nature of the bet in the first place. They just copied it. And that's exactly what's happened around parallel dialers and outreach and sales loft, is nobody understood the nature of the bet. The early adopters of those capabilities were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They got it. They had high conviction. They did really well. Everyone else is just trying to sort of reassert benchmarks that aren't theirs onto lazy automation in the hope that there's a silver bullet that gets their job done. And the messaging for it's super compelling, isn't it? Like, why wouldn't you want to eliminate the waste and the frustration? Like that's compelling. But, these things, it's like giving machine guns to chimpanzees. It's ridiculous.
You guys have a way of words across the pond, but that's.
But no, it's true. Like Ryan and I will always talk about this. The one thing that would always make a connect and sell customer successful when I was there, it would be a standout rep in the top 1% of talent that figured out a way to make it work. That was it.
It only takes one.
That was it.
But that's the same thing we see with outbound operators.
Yeah, of course it is. And it's the same thing I see at Titan X every day, right? Like my last call, just before coming into this conversation, like it was making sure that there was a good configuration into outreach, right? Pretty boring. It was 28 minutes of debating disposition science. And these reps were on the call.
They have 3 different variations for a meeting.
How do I do that? And why don't we disqualify that? And then the RevOps guy was like, well, what do you want to? And then all of a sudden it descends into chaos.
That's why for our clients, we just do it. These are your dispositions. This is it. Here's the book.
I get it.
And here's why. And you can,
we're trying to do as much as we can for people, but that inherently doesn't scale. And if you want to own a category, it needs to scale. Right?
For sure. I think it's going back to what you just said about outreach, sales loft being early in the game and then the impact they had. Just yesterday, I was going down a rabbit hole, doing a little bit of research on like, what is the market size right now for the SCP market? And the estimate is like 4 to 6 billion with about a 14% CAGR, and sales loft and outreach dominate the market with like a 45-50% share. And then there's HubSpot, Salesforce, the big players who kind of are nipping at the heels there. The next, and there's all the little guys. I think that we're starting to see with Titan X, I think we're going to see the same thing in the next, chunk of time. That's significant time where early player, right place, right time, going to dominate the market, and all the little guys are going to start to pop up now. And you're already starting to see it.
Yeah, we
saw
already
one the other day.
Drew Klunders with Connect Rate AI.
Just saw that one too. Yeah, the other day. And they're all going to try to just copy it. But like you were saying, it's like, they're just chasing the copy, the lookalike, without understanding why is that signal the alpha.
I think Titan X is lucky at the moment because it's still got people that are sort of relatively close to the source code operating it, right? But you can't really repackage Ryan's brain, particularly. Not that you'd want to, right? Because that'd be frightening.
I've been trying for 9 months, Gerry.
But it's true. Just like you couldn't clone Manny Medina's brain, and you couldn't clone Chris Beale's brain, right? Like you just can't. They're the first principles and the architects, and you can get close, maybe, and you can have a sort of loose understanding of the fundamentals. But this is why I hate Nooks so much, because they don't understand the fundamentals.
No. Those guys...
I mean, they're terrible humans because they copy everything and don't give credit, and they try and plagiarize the shit out of everyone else's products.
But you know what?
They're very good at product. That's their thing.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Their execution is unbelievable. A bunch of 26-year-olds hopped up on Celsius in the basement of the San Francisco house.
996. They probably haven't looked at a woman for 4 years. Like.
They're gonna win something big. They already have. I mean, I know a bunch of those guys are insanely impressive when it comes to execution. 16-hour days nonstop. They want to win. They want to win badly.
Yeah. And that's what I found so compelling when Justin and Joey started chatting to me about jersey switching and coming over to Titan X. Like, it's a winning mentality. What do I see? 98% of the market is diluted by people that don't want to win. And it comes back to my key point on sales leadership. Like, do you really want to win? Are you willing to ship processes and products and projects in record time? Like, the amount of stuff I've shipped in 4 weeks is probably the amount of stuff I'd ship in 4 months prior to that.
Especially at the last org that was like a fucking iceberg, dead ahead. The roadmap that's coming with Titan X is going to be super exciting. I'm really very, very excited to see what once some of these announcements come out. The thing that just worries me is I'm gonna say it worries me. It's just a constant, clear understanding of the problem. It doesn't matter how easy you make it for an individual to finally do their job. Let's go back to the automations and the workflows and let's say the data problem solved. Let's say we can get you the exact person at the exact account that we know if you just made the dial, they'll pick up. I mean, I literally just got off a session when I was doing this. There's not enough people that are willing to continuously show up and do that work. Going back to my conspiracy theory, they're afraid of whatever's on the other end of that line. And I don't know if that's a conviction problem. I heard someone talking about this on a podcast. I think it was Joe Rogan, about the fear of public speaking. And essentially cold calling is like a version of public speaking, right? But like people are deathly afraid of getting judged by other people. And, although all of us on this line here have no problem just clicking a button and talking to some sort of stranger, the majority of people do have that problem. And I don't know how you solve for that. It's getting worse because the new generation is so plugged into their phone and the TikTok nation and all this other stuff. They've lost the ability to just go and just have a conversation. Like it's not. There's nothing good or bad that comes from it. Some people are mean, some people are nice. If you actually have something of value, most people finish calls with what? Literally every single call I just had recently, I made 10 dials. I talked to 4 people. All of them, they ended every single one with, "Thank you so much for the follow-up. Thank you so much for calling me. Thanks for the call today, Ryan. Really appreciate it." Like that's what happens when you actually, have something of value and you work the list the right way, etc. And obviously that doesn't happen all the time when you're cold calling, but it doesn't result in the negativity as much as people try to say it does, unless you are working for an organization that literally doesn't invest in any of the strategies, I guess, that are pretty fundamental, right? Target companies that you think you can serve, talk to people that have a problem that you probably have some sort of idea around, and then just have a conversation with them. That's it. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. People are deathly afraid, even the ones that are good, like good at when they actually have the conversation, they won't make the calls. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that concept. Is it like a human fear
Yeah,
of
it's
public
human.
speaking thing,
It's human.
rejection?
No.
What is that?
Bill used to put it amazingly. It's that part of the brain which isn't rational. It's fight, flight, or fright. Okay, it's quite difficult to sort of control for that and embrace it and actually make it not kick you in the ass, because that's what it's designed to do, right? And I think he always used to tell this analogy of imagine you go back 3,000 years in civilization, and I'm crossing the river from my side of the river to your side of the river. I'm not bringing peace, love, and harmony. I'm bringing war, damnation, and conquest.
Sure.
And that's kind of the fear state that most people live in when approached by strangers or when speaking to people they've never met before.
I get that like psychological thing of it, but what I don't get is like you're selecting for a profession where your job is to do these things, and yet you're still like deathly afraid.
The one thing that we get
job
terribly wrong as an industry is we don't self-select enough. It's not Darwinistic enough, right? The cream rises, it goes to the top. But imagine if I was a surgeon and I got a bit squeamish around some blood and I stopped operating. What would happen to me?
You would be fired.
Right. No one would go to you.
Or I would change my career.
Right.
Correct. This goes back to the leadership concept. It kills me, man. Like we have so many.
Who's in the corner saying, "You're a good human. I really like you. You've got some really thoughtful perspectives here."
Well, you really write good emails. Well, you really know how to build a LinkedIn brand.
And actually, this is where automation's potentially got the real play. Going back to your what do I think about the future, Ronan? In a post-automation world, actually fewer reps, larger territories, more money, higher quotas, but to the best.
Yes, 100%. Not a doubt in my mind that that's accurate and true. Ryan quotes, who is it, Ryan? Stay above the API.
Noah Goldman. Yeah. He never released the book. I need to ping him again on this, but
that's a great line. It's staying.
He's been out for a long time. He went off his rocker. He's a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't connected with him since the pandemic, but he has his book, The Binary Principle, and the future of sales is to help with selection or implementation. The binary principle, and you have to stay above the API. But the challenge that I see is just like there's this whole world for some reason, and there's these sales leaders that talk this big game, and we talk to them all the time about, look, our system's going to do what it's supposed to do. Imagine a world where North Star, my salespeople are not in a meeting. They're 2 or 3 clicks away from their next best conversation. We literally have that built. That's always been my North Star. It's built now. It works. Man, if we had that, our reps would crush it. Actually, I even have the best rep for this. They'll do it. They'll do it. They'll do it. List starts to come in. Here they are. Fucking crickets. Crickets. Nothing. And you just try to get them to do it. Eventually, they'll do a little bit of it. And every time they do it, they have some success, but they won't do it consistently. Eventually, I mean, it seems like every time running, I jump back in and I'm like, hey, let me just go see what I could do here. Boom, boom, boom.
You just did it today. Follow up.
Just did it today.
Moved it forward. moved it forward.
And it's the sabotage stuff that kills me. Like the connect rate's not working. Like I tried them, they didn't pick up. And
It's like, no, you're ghost dialing. It works.
You're literally not calling. Like there's no way it's possible. The data shows that this is not possible. And most frustrating part about this whole experiment too is like I spent yet again probably 2 or 3 hours trying to troubleshoot. Maybe there's a technical issue, a connect rate. What's going on with the data? No. The reps that were in there are not there anymore. I'm on the exact same numbers that were being used, same dialer, making calls.
Yeah.
My connect rate today was literally 40%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same list.
It's nuts,
Same tools. It's wild.
Baffling.
Baffling.
I redesigned Connect and Sales QBR process last year, and the one slide after each and every single sort of data reveal on rep list message would always ask this one question: are the 80% willing to level up? Is it conceptual? They know what to do and aren't doing it, or is it technical? They don't know what to do and aren't doing it.
Great. That's a powerful question. That's a great question.
I don't know, but
Isolate the high performers, make them the paramour, make everyone else the enemy of your success.
why are we not cutting more though? I think that's where it all ends. Like
The economy.
Well, I think
there
it
are
happens.
too many sellers, mate.
I think
There
it
are too
happens
many
at
jobs.
great companies. Companies that actually have good leadership do cut pretty ruthlessly.
But good humans self-select, and they make choices that are valuable to themselves. And I think that judgment is probably going missing.
If you were to try to recommend to somebody best way to shift themselves into that kind of leader you described, what would be the recommendation you'd give them? If it's some sort of book, course, action to take, strategy, what comes to mind for you for advice for someone who wants to be that kind of person?
I mean, there's an abundance of opportunity and information. It's not like when we were starting out in our careers and everything was you had to fund it or it was behind a gatekeeper, or like people give away an awful lot of stuff for free these days, which is phenomenal. Like, I like what you guys are doing in Call Blitz. I think that's phenomenal. If I'm trying to level up and become a really competent sales leader, I would read The Competent Sales Leader by John McMahon again. Because that's a phenomenal book, right? I think the whole medic mafia goes overboard on deal inspection. There are so many good like other levers and lessons, and in fact, like I love his adage, like the best lever for any go-to-market motion is first line leadership. So understand why that's important. And I think the last one is just more sort of totemic at the moment. Reading Yossi Cohen's book on like Israel's response to October the 7th, and sort of getting insights from the guy that used to run Mossad, how he thinks broadly about everything. It's such a big sort of compelling sort of cutaway into how you can think as a strategic executive as well. Those lessons are phenomenal.
That has just gotten added to my Audible. Well, Giant Gerry Hill, folks, you heard it here firsthand. Thank you for joining. For the rest of you, thank you for tuning into another episode of Outbound Fluff, No Sales, brought to you by myself, Renan Pessar, and Ryan Reiser. We're the Outbound operators. And with us is Gerry Hill today over at Titan X. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe, drop a comment if you want to give us any kind of feedback or ask questions to follow up. And if you have any other guests in mind that you'd love to have on the show, let us know down below. Thank you.